sour because we are not getting immediate results. Rather than looking at how far we have come, we look at how far we still have to go.
Put your feelings aside, give that wild side a try. I'm not that girl.
Courage, that inner spark one must ignite, not to become fearless, but to ensure fear does not become us. We must summon our courage when fear looms largely. It is when fear looms largely we know we are about to embark on something challenging, something that will remove us from our comfort zone. We often try to seclude ourselves into tiny caverns of comfort we hold within, that place we find our serenity and calm, shielded from the world, our trepidations, and all that frightens us. If we allow ourselves to be shielded by these little comfort zones we've built, we will hinder ourselves from taking action. Our emotional response to fear is typically to hide ourselves away. But it's only when we step out into all the vastness around us can we truly grow and flourish. Naturally, we all have this inherent need to protect ourselves and those we care about from harm. Often we muster up courage without even realizing it when our own welfare or that of those we love is under threat. Courage is something we all have within. We just need a tiny spark to ignite it. Some of us would be surprised how much we've actually unleashed that inner courage without realization. Every time we have felt nervous but put ourselves to task regardless. During an exam, learning to drive, first date, that job interview. So many times we have activated our courage. We activate it every day without even thinking. Going out into the world on days we feel down or not ourselves. Fear resides within even the most confident of people. Confident people are in no way absent of fear. They just have that little bit more belief in themselves to get in there and get the job done. However, there is a line one would hope not to cross between confident and overconfident. Being too confident can sometimes be detrimental. As they say, fools rush in. Mindless risks can have dire outcomes. If someone is a bit cocky in their approach, it could turn to shit very fast. We need to find a happy medium between fear and overconfidence. When courage is lacking and fear is stalking, it's a good thing to understand that your survival rate for every damn thing life has thrown your way thus far is 100% in your favor. This year has pretty much made us all call on our courage reserve. Not one of us has had any control. We've had to roll with the punches and follow suit of anything and all we've been told to do. Lives and livelihoods have been under threat. Lives and livelihoods have been lost. Friends and families have been separated as we've all slipped into this vortex of fear for the unknown, truly not knowing if and when this will end. This time last year, none of us had any inkling what was to befall us in 2020, and I'm sure most of us never believed we'd see anything like this in our own lifetime. Not one of us has had an easy year. We've all had our crosses to bear, our sacrifices and stresses. But to anyone who is watching this video right now, you are here, you are breathing, and tomorrow is a whole new fucking day. We are so close to putting this year that will go down in history to bed. None of us know the answers. None of us know what the next will bring. But we can all go forth into 2021 with pride whilst we've all had our moments and we are yet to be home and hosed. We brave face this year and are so fucking close to making it out the other side. Sadly, for the most part, we don't acknowledge the courage it has taken to get to here and now. We focus on the worry of what it will take to get beyond here and now. Instead of waking up each morning proud we've made it through this far. We can look back on the negatives and yes, no doubt there have been many, or we can focus on the positive, that being self-growth and for many self-discovery, learning things about oneself and our resilience. Our mind is wired to ponder over all the things that could go wrong, but it takes a brave soul to step forth regardless with hope for all the things that could just as well go right. Courage is an attribute we all want, but so very often feel we ourselves cannot acquire. Courage is not loud and boastful. Courage is speaking up even when you're your insides are trembling. Having the courage to stand up for all you believe in, all that you are, all that you want to be. We often think that being fearful of something, fearful within, that this then diminishes our courage. Without realizing that it is only when we are afraid or fearful within can we become courageous. For the absence of fear would also eradicate the need for courage. Anytime you follow your gut, anytime you follow your heart, anytime you stand up to be counted, you are enabling your courage button. Letting go and jumping will ensure no one else can flick off that switch once bravery is activated. Even gradually building up the nerve to let go of your reservations and front up to things that make you feel worrisome. Even tiny steps out of your comfort zone will have you feeling proud and your most courageous. Every step forward enlightens us to our capabilities and all the possibilities. Many of our fears are just imaginings we create within our own mind. Imaginings of things fucking up and us being in danger or looking an ass. We ourselves hold ourselves back with overthinking. This then holds us back more than anything or anyone else ever does. The fundamental desire to keep ourselves safe and out of harm's way. But this will keep us from flourishing, will be like a brick placed on our head, preventing us from growth. Playing it small will never serve us well. We are meant to flourish, to shine, and to bloom into whom we want to be. Sometimes our fears are legitimate and rather founded, but when possible, it can only benefit us to find ways to alleviate those demons whispering doubt into our ears. Moving past fear is often more doable when we make ourselves accountable. When we release our goals to the wind, when we announce them to others, we are often more likely to not quit on ourselves in fear of looking weak or full of shit. Of course, there is always the looming fear of looking a fool. Sometimes the fear of looking weak overrides the fear of falling on our ass. Finding the courage to conquer one fear, of course, will not guarantee that fear will not continue calling upon us. Fear will always find its way in. But the more often we stand strong against it, the more likely we will come out on the other side of fear triumphant. We somehow need to drown out the whispers of our demon within by mustering the roar of our hero within. None of us are born courageous, but then none of us are born fearful either. We all have the choice whether we are going to be restrained by fear or unleashed by brave. Our perspective, our outlook will determine our choice. Acting in courage will strengthen us. Bowing down to fear will weaken us. Courage is not in taking over the world. Courage is in presenting your truths to the world. Walking the road less traveled, the road that is there awaiting you to walk into all you can be. Courage is in being forgiving, not only of others, but also of oneself. Being kind to yourself, not only when you rise, but also when you fall. Persistence will lead to resilience. The more fears you demolish, the more will appear, because you will be out there being proactive, creating new opportunities, new goals to smash. We are all able to enjoy a certain level of discomfort. It's much easier to find comfort in discomfort by understanding nothing good's going to come without a collaboration of both. Understanding that we will most likely fail more times than we will ever win. And this is perfectly okay. This is where we learn. This is where we grow. When we don't fear failure, we are more likely to go into things more bravely, more likely to succeed because we are not standing in our own way. We fear failure because we fear the absolute worst of outcomes. For most, I'm guessing that fear being death, but fact is, death is a given for all of us. Failure is not. I would rather die knowing I confronted my fears and gave life everything I've got than to be dying on the inside, hiding from my fears, doing absolutely bloody nothing. When we decide the outcome to be a fail before we even begin, we are shooting ourselves in the ass rather than boldly going in, sliding in on our ass. Every one of us feels afraid. Every one of us feels nervous. Every one of us has self-doubts, but not every one of us surrenders to them. We mostly all have potential to do brave things. We mostly all have potential to live life to the max. Whilst ever there is a hunger, a desire within to do better, to be better. It means it's time to put faith in yourself that you are ready to go into battle for yourself. Refuse to allow your courage to be obliterated by fear. The more you act on courage, the more it will become like second nature. Whilst we should never fear living our best life, living wild and free, courage should also be within our limits and not practiced with reckless abandon. Not much in life comes without risk, but it is one thing to risk failing, but absolutely ridiculous to risk putting ourselves or anyone else in harm's way. I would rather die trying than to live without courage, but I would rather live than die being a mindless fucking idiot. Procrastination cannot promise courage. It will not build within the more we ponder. Having trust and belief in our own ability, even if it takes a few attempts at getting it right, will lead us to our brave. Courage comes with experience of being afraid, but doing it anyway. Fear is never the problem. It's the fear of fear that is the problem. We can visualize ourselves soaring to great heights, but we fear falling rather than focusing on the bravery in the climb and the view from the top. Face up to those fears and fight back. Or live a life of regret, thinking if only I'd tried a little harder. Thing is, we give up without realizing how close we are to accomplishment. We throw in the towel because we are not getting immediate results. Rather than looking at how far we have come, we look at how far we still have to go. Sometimes it's best to move in silence because then you don't have to listen to the crickets. The naysayers, the doubters, the judgmental, giving their unwanted 2 cents worth. Move in silence and let your wins do the talking. Follow nothing or no one but the hope in your dreams. Courage is falling down 9 times, getting up 10. Courage is standing up for those yet brave enough to stand up for themselves. Courage is acknowledging that pain, that disappointment, that frustration, but fronting up to try again tomorrow. Courage is the sun on your face, the breeze in your hair, that wild in your soul. Living life on your own terms. Celebrating every fucking moment like today is your last day on earth. I'm Sharon Leanna. Thank you for watching all the way till the end. Drop me a comment so I know you're here and be sure to hit the like button for me too. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe as it really helps my channel grow. I appreciate the support. Don't forget to hit the bell so you don't miss my next one. And while you're here, check out my other videos. Until next time, love, peace, and light to you.
Break out of your shell, meet me